Okay, we are recording. So thanks for joining us, everybody. This is our monthly webinar. Today we're going to talk about Google Authorship for home care marketing. This is the new SEO. It's really important. My name is Valerie Van Boeven, and my partner George Novison is on the line. Hi, George.
Hi, Val. Welcome, everyone.
And we are going to be here, it'll probably take about half an hour, and we will leave plenty of time for your questions. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started, and we are recording this, so if you have to bail out early on us, we will send out the replay to everyone. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is something that's kind of come to fruition over time with Google and Facebook and social media and content and all the things that we always talk about, and that's the right way to market online. And it's sort of about creating a circle of trust online. When folks find you and they have no point of reference for home care, they need to feel like they can trust you right away, especially if the only point of reference they have is your online presence. So we want to show you how to create that circle of trust and market your home care agency the right way, so that when your presence is online, Google likes you, it trusts you, and also the consumers that are looking for you trust you. So this is kind of what the circle of trust looks like. This is everything that you would need to create that circle of trust for consumers and for Google and for all the people that matter when it comes to online marketing of your home care agency. And we've talked about a lot of these already, so I'm just going to kind of briefly go through these. At the very top, you see reputation. That means home care reviews. And we've talked a lot about the ins and the outs of home care reviews, how they're good, they're bad, and which programs work and don't work, and all that. So, and the reason that we created seniorservicereviews.com was to kind of overcome some of the issues that home care agencies face when it comes to home care reviews. Because using Google or Yelp or Foursquare, those kinds of platforms aren't really designed for home care, and they really aren't very good for home care. So with Senior Service Reviews, we developed a reputation management or a home care reviews and testimonials system that is specific to senior services that really works. So that's part of the circle of trust, is showing that other people have used your services and trust you and have had a good experience. And then I'm going to go to the left. I'm going to go to online presence. Now at LTC Expert Publications, our main focus is your overall online presence. So we do websites and content all the time. But regardless of who you use or who you're engaging with for services, all of these things really matter. So if you're using a local guy who's a local SEO expert, that's great. But without all of these things that I'm showing you on the screen, you really haven't created that circle of trust for Google or for anyone else in your community. So reputation's at the top. On the left is online presence, and that's really your website and your blog and the content that you're putting or should be putting on your blog every single week or every single, 2 times a week without fail. That's really important. So that's on the left-hand side, and that's something that we talk about all the time. And then on the very bottom, engagement, and that's your social media. And it's your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Twitter, your Pinterest. All those things are really important too. And we just recently did a webinar on Facebook marketing and how that's really important. And we'll probably do another one coming up very soon about LinkedIn. But engagement is super important for this circle of trust. And then on the right-hand side, we have the word authority. And the word authority is all about Google authorship today. We're going to talk about this circle, in our bigger circle today, expert author program plus Google authorship. So what we really want to help people understand is what Google authorship is and how it works and why all of these things together really, really matter. And it doesn't really matter who does each one of them. Of course, we do all of them, but even if you put the pieces, as long as you put the pieces together and they work well together, you can have a very good circle of trust in your marketing for your home care agency. So let's talk about the Google Plus Authorship Program. On the agenda, we're going to talk about what is Google Authorship, what are the benefits, what does it look like, how does it help a home care agency, and how do you set this up. And it's not an easy task, I'll be honest with you. I mean, for one person it may be easy, but we have set up, I don't know, it seems like seems like we've set up I don't know how many accounts lately, and it is a lot of hoops to jump through. So we're going to talk about how you do that. So what is Google Authorship? So I want to start with just a little explanation here. Matt Cutts, who is the head of Google's web spam team, he had made a comment on Google Authorship at the recent March 2013 Search Marketing Expo West. Co-chaired Danny Sullivan, founding editor of Search Engine Land, which is a really good website if you've never been to Search Engine Journal, Search Engine Land. He asked Google distinguished engineer Matt Cutts about authorship and if it was the new PageRank as reported by Search Engine Journal. And Matt's response was this: reputation will matter more and more as we move forward. Over time, we, meaning Google, will be caring more about identity and social. So for those of you who have really resisted putting your face online, you will find that without an identity online and a social identity at that, not just your logo but your actual face, and proving that you are actually the author of the content that's on your website or on other websites throughout the internet, without that, you will find that you're going to have a really hard time seeing the first page of Google anymore. The Search Engine Journal continued to report that he, Matt, is also saying that it would be great to see commenters on blogs who have authority get credit for that also. Matt is recommending implementing authorship on your site. So Matt Cutts is probably the one person that most SEO people listen to the most, and everybody wants to know what's in his brain because they want to know what the next algorithm change is going to be and what's going to happen. But Google Authorship is a positive thing, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So let's talk about the benefits of Google Authorship before I show you what it looks like, though. The benefits of Google Authorship implementation by authors are enormous, and that includes trust plus confidence, which equals a higher click-through rate to your website. So when somebody sees your content online, you're going to get a higher click-through rate, meaning they're going to click on your article because your face is right there next to your article. You get more real estate. It establishes authority. It helps combat plagiarism, and it follows you wherever you go. So let's look at what that looks like. Trust plus confidence equals a higher click-through rate. Your author photo next to your article inspires trust and confidence. It also personalizes the result. The searcher will be more likely to click on it to read it. So here we have an example of one of our clients, and if I typed in, let's see, for this search I typed in live-in home care San Mateo, because that's where this person is located. And number 3 on the list was our client, and an article that appeared in liveincareforseniors.com. Now that's not his website, that is one of our authority sites. And he is actually, because of his authorship, he is now number 3 on the first page of Google for the San Mateo area for live-in home care. And this is an article about his business, Nueva Care, and how they are specialized in live-in care for seniors. So this is one example of what it looks like when you have authorship set up correctly. You notice his face is there, and in everything that is published on his website or any of our authority sites, and I can read those off to you, there's Alzheimer's care, live-in care, there's caregiver stress, there's one about helping aging veterans, there's senior safety issues, and what did I miss? Alzheimer's care, live-in care, I don't know what I missed. But anyway, there's 6 of them, and on all of those, everyone has their own authority set up, or their own authorship set up, and on their own website. So you get more real estate. Your photo next to a search result actually takes up more real estate on the search results and draws the searcher's eye attention. So if you look at this page, this web search was, I think, Home Care Services, St. Augustine, Florida. I typed in Home Care Services, St. Augustine, Florida, or FL, and up comes the map. Now this is the very top of the first page of Google. So the 2 results that you see at the very top are paid results. So the Home Instead and the Home Health Caregiver, the Comfort Care Jacks, those are both paid. That's Google pay-per-click. And then you start the map results, meaning these are people who are located on the maps. Now this is a brand new client of ours who did not have a presence at all before we came on board, I don't think, and she is now the second person on the map. And it may be in large part because we established Google authorship for her immediately. And so now, what attracts your eye on this page is probably the picture of the pretty girl, and you may be more likely to click on hers. Plus, you all know, if you've done any kind of local search marketing, you've tried to get on the first page of Google, for words like home care, it is really hard to get on the first page of Google if you've never been there before or if you're starting from scratch. And this happened in just a matter of weeks. So I think it has a lot to do with the fact that she's engaging in Google authorship, and we set all this up for her. So that is the power of what we're talking about right there. And then some more benefits. It establishes authority. So your Google Plus ID is your digital signature, letting Google know you are who you say you are, and it's just like having a driver's license to Google. And it helps combat plagiarism. When you, as the original author, implement an authorship markup, which means we put a little code on your website, content scrapers will be more easily identified by Google. Your content will be given priority over the scrapers in the search engine results. Meaning that because you have stepped up and said, this is mine, I wrote this, and I'm putting my face by it, you're going to give priority over people who are just putting up spammy, SEO'd articles that really aren't worth a hoot. And then it follows you wherever you go. As you've seen in the previous graphics, our client's photo is next to their article published on various websites, including their own. So Cameron, who you saw on the Live-In Care for Seniors, and Amanda, which you saw on her own website, are contributing authors and have set up Google Plus authorship that has been linked to the article. So we did all that for them, but because they have authorship set up, they now show up above a lot of other people. So what does it look like? So I'm going to take you through sort of the life cycle, or the, I guess, the places where stuff like this shows up on the internet. So, and this is not necessarily a search that anyone would do, but I just put it in because I wanted to give you an example of how things evolve and how you can see that they're out on social media. So I took one of the articles that recently appeared on SeniorSolutionsHomeCare.net. And I just put the article title in a Google search to see where it would show up. So the first result that I get is on a Google search is the actual article itself, and you can see Amanda's pretty picture right next to the article. So this is one that they wrote about their involvement with the Alzheimer's Association in their local area. And then underneath that, you can also see some information about them. So they have a couple of spots already for this article. And this is a Google search. Now let's see what else we can find. This is actually the article that is on her blog or her website. So what you can see is that the article, and I didn't screen, this is a screenshot, so you can't see the whole article. It doesn't end there. It goes on down further. But you can see where my arrow's pointing. That's her name right there, of course. And that is part of Google authorship. That is tagging her as the author and there's a code inside of that that tells Google, this is Amanda, put her picture by it. And then if we were to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, you would see that there she is. That's her little author box. So every time an article is written and we attribute her as the author, her little author bio box comes up at the very bottom. It's just a shortened version of her About Us page. It's about her. So that also helps Google know that Amanda is the one that wrote this and attributes it to her. So then if we look at their Facebook page, we can also see, and this is very important to Google, they're looking more and more at social engagement. So where it used to be just how many keywords can you put in an article and how many backlinks and how many, all that's important to a certain extent, but also social is important. So you have to have your articles go out to all of your social media accounts. That's part of the engagement. And here it is, that same article posted on their Facebook business page, among other articles that have been written there. And then if we look at her Twitter account, we can see that now it's also showing up on her Twitter account, right next to her picture. And then if we keep going, we can see that it's also posted on her LinkedIn profile. So all of the articles that she has written are showing up on all of her social media accounts, on all the main ones that we really care about. So here it is again on her LinkedIn activity profile. And then I also wanted to show you one more example of what about when it's not on your website. So in other words, what if you're a contributing author to a different website, one that's not your own? I showed you way back in the very beginning the example of Cameron, who was an author, a contributor on live-in care for seniors, and his article shows up for his local area from that live-in care for seniors website. If you type in live-in care or live-in home care San Mateo, you will see that his article in that website shows up right there on the first page. So I typed in reduce hospital readmission rate St. Augustine, and pretty much Amanda dominates the whole first page, but you can see that she has contributed an article to reducehospitalreadmissionrates.com, and because authorship is set up for her on Google and also on the reducehospitalreadmissionrates.com, her face shows up next to all of her articles. So she's being credited by Google and by us with the authorship of this article. So every time we publish something for Amanda or for her home care agency, she is being given credit for it. Same rule follows for Cameron. Same rule follows for all the clients that we have. They're all going to be attributed, all the articles that are written that are attributed to them are going to have their face by it. So it's really important that if you can understand that if you've resisted having your face be a part of your online engagement, you kind of got to get over it, because really what Google is looking for is your face next to articles that you have written. And if you need help writing them, certainly there's all kinds of ways to get content written. That's not a problem at all. But the important thing is that it's your face. You cannot use a logo for this. So if Amanda would have used her logo here, it wouldn't have worked well at all. Google knows the difference between a human face and a logo, and they really want that human face. So when you set up your Google Plus profile, it has to be about you as a human being, not about your business. You can always set up a Google Plus page about your business, but having a profile, just like on Facebook, you need to have a human profile and then separately have a business page. They are two separate things. By the way, I'm going to stop here and just say this. I know that folks are probably going to have questions, and that's okay. You can certainly ask them, but I want you to ask them by typing them in. You have a little dashboard that should be somewhere on your desktop, and there's a place where you can type in questions. You can type in questions anytime you want. I'm not going to answer questions till the end, but I will take them in the order they are received. So the faster you type in a question, the sooner I'll answer it when we get down to the end of the webinar. So go ahead and type in your questions as we go. Don't hesitate. You don't have to wait for me to end the webinar. Okay, so how does this help market my home care agency? Well, based on Google's agent rank patent, this is what they're coming up with, something called agent rank. We believe that if you begin using Google authorship, you will end up being given an author rank one day. And this will affect the visibility of your content and have an impact on your overall search engine ranking through the internet giant Google. And that comes from Search Engine Journal. So what they're saying is, if you do the right thing and you have Google authorship set up for yourself, and you're a contributing author on your own website, and you're a contributing author on other websites, and there's and social media is involved, and you have all kinds of other things out there that help Google know that you are a real person and that you are trustworthy. When you do that, eventually you will have what's called author rank, and your content will show up before some other spammy content that might be out there or some ineffective content. So it's really important, just like with anything Google does, that you engage with this, that you understand it, and that you move forward with it, because otherwise you're going to find that your online presence is really diminished over time without doing some of these things. So I have some questions I kind of wanted to throw out. You don't really have to answer me. I just want you to think about these things. And when we talk about sort of the circle of trust in marketing, consumers choose a home care agency based on what? I mean, in your experience, or an assisted living facility or a nursing home or whatever, what are they choosing, what are they making that final choice based on? Probably based on trust, based on recommendations, maybe based on reviews or experience in the past. They want to know that they can trust. The main crux of the whole issue here is that they can trust the caregivers that are coming into the home to take care of their mom or their dad and do a good job and not steal from them or abuse them or do something horrible or just not show up. They want to be able to trust the people that are coming into their parents' home. That is the big deal. And that is really what it comes down to when they make the final decision. Once they get over the price, once they get over how much this is going to run their parents, you know, as far as rates go and private pay-wise, once they get over all those other things, the last issue that they have or obstacle they have to get over is who are they going to trust. So trust is the biggest piece of what we're faced with when it comes to online marketing. So consumers who have no point of reference for elder care issues often search for solutions online. If they find your home care agency and compare it to another local agency, they will probably call the one they feel they can what? That they can trust, that they can relate to, that they can look to as the experts or problem solvers. So if you were to do a search for home care in St. Augustine, Florida, and you see Amanda's picture and you see all of her articles and you see all the things that she's done and her blog is up to date and it has relevant content that's being published on every single week, and she's got testimonials and she's got reviews on a third-party credible website, and she has contributed articles to other websites that are out there, and that's evident on her website as well. When you see all of that, you see her passion for what she does, and you see that she's really serious about providing really good care, and you can see her face, and you know who you're doing business with, and that is really important. In today's home care market, setting all other methods of marketing aside, only considering online marketing, and I know online marketing should not ever be the only thing you're doing, but just considering online marketing, who do you think generates the most inquiries from their website? An agency with no human face. The About Us page is still a logo and, you know, how we were incorporated in 2000 and, you know, no names. The agency with no new content, the one that has the last blog post from August of 2012. The agency who does not engage in social media, there's no Facebook, there's no Twitter, there's no Google, or if there is, they just are sitting there empty. There's nothing inside of them. There's no engagement. There's no follow-through. Or do you think the agency who shows that they're passionate enough to reach out to their community via the internet with engaging, supportive content in social media? They've created a circle of trust online. They've been able to show the consumer and Google, which is also important here because you want to get good ranking and you want to get first page placement. They've been able to show the consumer we are passionate, we are reaching out, we're not afraid to tell you who we are, and we want you to know who you're doing business with, and we invite your comments and your commentary and your engagement with us. Whether it's online or on the phone or privately or whatever it is, we want you to know that you can trust us. And the way we're doing that is by putting ourselves out there. That's the agency that at the end of the day that the person's going to choose. It doesn't matter how web savvy they are. If they know nothing at all, they're going to probably choose the one that they see the most showing up on the first page of Google. And the way that you do that is by engaging and having content and doing all the things that we've just talked about. So really important stuff here. So how do I make this happen for me or my home care agency? Well, I put this little graphic up here, and I am going to send out the replay of this webinar so you guys can see. This is put together by Search Engine Journal, so I'm not the one who put this together, but it starts out saying Google authorship, SEO will never be the same. And then it says, leverage the power of authorship. You are not the author of content unless Google says you are. And then it goes to the left about Google authorship. SEO will never be the same. And then the little chain goes down and it says, link your content to Google+. And then it says the result, Google recognizes and notes you as the author. And there's these little arrows pointing to that guy's face. And then it says, how do you do that? There are 3 steps. You need to create your Google Plus profile, use an existing Gmail account, or set up a new Google Plus account. And by the way, for all of our current clients who are listening to this, either now or at the replay, we have already done this for you, so please don't do it again. You don't have to do it. It's already done. Number 2, tell Google about your content. Add your contributor links like Facebook, blogs, etc. to your About page on your Google Plus profile. And then number 3, link your content to Google Plus. So link your Google Plus profile, add the rel equals author tags to the link. Okay, so that sounds like a lot of hooey-gooey, geeky internet speak, and it kind of is. There's a little bit of code that needs to go on your blog posts and on your website and things like that so that Google knows that you are who you say you are and you are a contributor. And then there's also a place on Google called Google Structured Content where you can test that to make sure Google really is finding you and seeing you and acknowledging you. And that's the part that's kind of the behind-the-scenes little code stuff that you have to set up, and that's where your geeky gurus like us come in. But you definitely have to have those things set up in order to have Google recognize you. Just setting up a Google Plus profile is not going to get it. There are a couple of other steps you have to take. So you can read all about it on Google if you go to their help section and type in Google Authorship. And there's tons and tons of articles out there. So I'm not going to go into it because we spend a lot of time doing this, and it would take forever to explain it, and I'm not going to do that. So, but super important that your face is out there. And then I wanted to show you, this is, I talked a little bit about author rank, and this is a little graphic that kind of shows how all this relates together. So you see that kind of in the bottom half of this page, there's a circle that says, or a rectangle that says author rank, and all these things are pointing to it. So that's you. You're the author. And then what Google is measuring is your engagement, your comments, inbound links that go to you, shares, +1s on Google, external engagement like Facebook, authority on other social platforms. Do you have a Facebook business page? Do you have a profile? The number of Google Plus circles that you're in, connections to other authors that you may have, other general authority signals like citations, mentions via news sources, etc. So Google's looking at all of these things on the big giant internet and saying, how well does this person really do? What kind of author rank should we give them? And then all of that, see the blue arrow that goes way up high, is going to translate over to your website. Now your website needs to have tweets, likes, shares, inbound links, mention, inbound links, contents, articles, social interactions, and all kinds of other things going to it. So you have to take all of the stuff that's on the screen and kind of meld it together, and that's what you call the circle of trust. If you do everything right, Google will reward you tenfold. And in an economic environment where you, as a home care agency owner or assisted living facility, can use every edge, this is exactly the kind of stuff you need to know is important. You don't have to understand exactly how to do it because, frankly, you can hire somebody else like us to do it for you. But you have to understand that it is important. You can't hide behind your website anymore. You need to come out from behind the website and show your face and take responsibility for your content and show the world who you are. It's so important. Okay. So that is the right way to market online, and that's the circle of trust marketing for home care. And it sounds complicated, but it can be simplified. And I'm just going to show you this graphic one more time. These are the things that go into creating that circle of trust. This is what Google wants. They want you to show your reputation, so we develop senior service reviews. They want you to have a great online presence, having a website and lots of content, fresh content every single week without fail. You can't just sit on your content. You cannot have stale websites anymore. It doesn't work. Engagement, you need to have social media like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest. You need to engage with that. You need to be active on it, or you need to have help getting active on it. And then authority. You need to show that you're an author. You need to claim all the content out there that's in your name. And you need to have content on other websites besides your own. Just having it on your website is fine. But being an author, having authorship on external websites like Live and Care for Seniors or Alzheimer's Care Today or HelpForAgingVeterans.com, having authorship, your face showing up on those articles that are linked back to you, but have your face by them, that is fabulous. And Google loves that because they want you to be a contributor. They want you to have good author rank. They want you to have credibility. So you take all of these things and you have what's called a circle of trust. It builds a circle of trust for Google and a circle of trust for consumers because they see this too. So having said that, that is what we're talking about today. And I will take any questions that you might have. If you want to visit our website, it's ltcsocialmark.com. You can contact George or myself. There's our email addresses, Valerie@ltcep.com or George@ltcep.com. Or you can call us at 888-404-1513, or again, visit our website, ltcsocialmark.com. So let's see. So I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and write me down some questions. Let me hear the questions or read the questions. I want to see what you got. Surely you all have questions about this. Let's see here. I'm going to go out and scroll down. Okay, here's a question. I have spam that hits my comments area of our sitters, etc. website. Therefore, I had to change the settings, so now I have to approve all comments first. The spam is designed to target seniors and take their money or to switch to online companies for prescriptions. Does it hurt me to have the comments not immediately pop up in the comments after each blog? You know what? We have WordPress has something you could add on called Akisemet, and I'm probably saying that wrong, but it's A-K-I-S-E-M-T or whatever. But you can turn that on. You can have a subscription to it, and you can turn that on, and it'll catch all that spam. But no, you're not hurting yourself. I would never let spam comments. If I can avoid it, I do not let spam comments hit any of our blogs. We always trash them, and we always change our website so that we have to approve any comments, because you certainly don't want anybody commenting on your blog without you knowing it and having some kind of awful thing be there or links to other websites. That is a no, 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 no. So turn that off, delete them all, and some programs like Akisemet will catch all that if you have a WordPress website and help you manage it. Let's see. Let me just make this a little bit bigger so I can see. Can authorship only be set up with a Gmail account? You have to have a Google Plus account, Belinda, in order to, you don't have to have a Gmail account necessarily, but frankly, when you set up a Google Plus profile for yourself, you're going to automatically kind of have a Gmail account anyway. You can have other email addresses that are your email address that identifies you as the author. It doesn't have to be at gmail.com. It can be, for instance, if you look at any of the places where I'm the author, my website address or the email address that Google recognizes me with is Valerie@ltcep.com. It's not a gmail@gmail.com address, and that's something you have to work through on your Google Plus profile when you set it up. Like I said, this can be a little complicated, but if you work with the right folks, they can get it set up for you. There's also a bit of code. If you're not using a Gmail address, there's a bit of code that you need to put on your website that will also help Google recognize you. So you can do that too. Let's see here. How do I open, wait a minute here. How do I open management up to accepting comments and reviews? They are terrified of negative comments and are permanently on our pages. Okay, so if you want to, so for blog posting, you need to manage that by moderating your comments. I would never recommend any other methodology, but for reviews, you need to use a system like seniorservicereviews.com, because in that case, when you use a system like that, it is designed to let you manage and approve you can't change the words, but you can manage and approve the reviews before they go live, so that if someone is being belligerent, or they're crazy, or if it's a disgruntled employee, those are things that you all can work through on a customer service level, and their reviews will never see the light of day. So if your management is terrified of reviews, then I would definitely send them to seniorservicereviews.com. That whole system was set up to help take away that fear and to avoid having negative reviews show up online. That, for us, as far as we're concerned, is a customer service issue. Okay. I'm going to keep on going down the... Is there something I can add to my Google Plus code or profile to cease or reduce the amount of spam? No, that doesn't have anything to do with spam. On our site, we allow interaction and comments via Facebook. Is there a difference between comments on Facebook and on my site? It depends on what service you're using. Some of them will integrate the two. I would say, and there are a lot of search engine optimization groups that use something called Discus for interactions and comments, and that's perfectly okay. I'm not sure of all the technical stuff that goes behind it, but if it's set up right, it doesn't matter whether they're actually a Facebook comment or a blog comment. Our corporate office, our corporate offices provide articles to us each month. Can we claim these as our own and put our photo with the article? No, you cannot. And here's why. If you are, let's say, a home care franchise owner, and you get an article from corporate that's really nice about, May is Older Americans Month, and it's this great article about Older Americans Month, and they put it on their website. Well, guess what? You can do whatever you want with it because they give you permission to, but Google is only going to attribute that article to one place, and that's the corporate blog where they put it, or maybe it's just the first franchise owner in your corporate system to post it on their blog. There's something called duplicate content that's a real problem. Of course, your corporate entities want you to have good content and timely content on your blogs. That's understandable. But if you want to see the first page of Google, using that content will only harm your results because it is duplicated hundreds and hundreds of times by all the franchise owners across your franchise. So, for instance, we run a group on LinkedIn, which you all are welcome to join, called Home Care Daily. And I see folks from a certain franchise posting the same links to the same articles every single week to Home Care Daily. And they absolutely, and I just keep wanting to say to somebody, you know what, you all are just, you're doing yourselves a disservice because it's different franchise owners posting the exact same link to their blog with the exact same article and the exact same title and the exact same information over and over and over again every week. Stop doing that. Write your own content or have it written for you. If you need help getting content, you need to contact us and talk to us about it. Our business, because of the duplicate content rule, I would say I spend 60% of my time managing content, unique content for every single client, every single day, every single week. So it is a big job, but we do it very well. Okay. Since Google continues to change how it decides to rank businesses and most of their changes require additional work, how do we strike the right balance between actually running one's business and also trying to keep Google folks happy? If we are just going to hire people to make, and then there's nothing else after that, to make Google happy, doesn't that take away from the authorship of the business? Mark, you have to do what you do best. And if running a senior service is what you do best, or running a home care agency, then that's what you need to concentrate on. No one expects, and the big companies like Coca-Cola or Nike, they outsource all of this. They have an internal staff. I shouldn't say they outsource it. But the president of Nike isn't sitting down and writing article after article about tennis shoes every week. They have a huge staff of people that are writing for them and writing, and some of it's attributed to the author and some of it's just attributed to Nike. So you probably can't afford to have an expert social media person who is on your staff, who is very well versed in home care, who understands your client base, and also understands the adult child of the aging parent and their feelings of overwhelm. And if you could hire someone like that, you'd have to pay them probably $250,000 a year to sit there and take care of all your web stuff. So it wouldn't be worth it. So having said all of that, if you outsource it to folks who absolutely understand the home care industry, who know what you're going through, who know what your clients are going through, who get it, who have appropriate content, and can make sure that you are meeting, all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted, that's okay. We just, and there are times that you need to engage on Facebook and on LinkedIn. I mean, you have to have some level of minimal involvement in order to make all this work. As a person, you have to know what's going on. So you can't outsource you as a human, but you can outsource the content piece of this, and that's what's so important. But it has to be the right content, and it has to be written correctly, and it has to be put on all the right sites at all the right times. And it has to be unique. It cannot be carbon copies of other content. So, Mark, I think it's a smarter idea to outsource the stuff that you're not an expert in to a company that can do it right. I'm not, we specialize in home care. I'm not a fan of everybody and their brother is a SEO expert. That's great. But if you haven't worked in the home care industry and you don't understand the plight of the online marketing and the situation that occurs, then they're never going to get you the results you need. Okay, so I hope I said all that. Okay, this is great. If you're an author, I am not. What are my alternatives? Okay, so you're not a writer and you want to have a good presence, then you need to outsource the work and have someone else set up your authorship for you and have the articles written for yourself. And you can outsource all of it, but you need to make sure, again, hiring any willy-nilly person is not appropriate. I got to tell you that when I sit down to write content or we analyze content that comes in from someone else, I can tell you right now where that content originated from, the country, even if it's written in good English. You have to make sure that it's engaging, that it tells a story, that it's appropriate. And we have very select writers on our team that do write content for us, but it has taken me a long time to assemble that group. What are the external websites you recommended for authoring content on? Is there a place you can go to find a list of your websites? Yes, you can go to ltcsocialmark.com, ltcsocialmark.com, and you can see a list under our expert author program of all of our different websites. It's Alzheimer's Care Today, seniorcarestress.com, liveincareforseniors.com, seniorsafetyissues.com, helpforagingveterans.com, and I'm probably forgetting one again. But there's 6 or 7 of them, and all the content on all those websites is unique, and it is attributed to the person who is the writer. And they're good articles. It's a lot of good tips. Some if it's about caregiver stress, some of it's about dealing with Alzheimer's disease. They have a lot of good stuff. Let's see. What if the content articles I display on my website and social media pages are written by someone other than me? Is there a way to link my face with the author's permission? I'm not sure exactly what you're saying here, but if you are going to take credit for an article, then you have to be the one who wrote it, and it has to be unique and can only be on your website. So you need to make sure that you're hiring someone to write the content, and you're doing a good job of hiring them, and they are understanding that the content is not going to be attributed to them, it's going to be attributed to you. It's called ghostwriting, and if you have that understanding, then absolutely, you can post it and put your name by it because that's what you paid for. But if it's someone else who wrote the article and you just want to post it on your website, and they've already claimed it and they have their name by it, but you take it and put it on your website, that's not cool. That's plagiarism or copyright infringement, so you can't do that. But if you hire someone and that's the understanding you have with them and you have a team of writers and they're ghostwriting for you and they get it, that's fine. Where do you find other home health blog sites to do guest posts on? Well, you can always do a Google search and see if anyone will let you do some guest posting on their blogs. You can always ask for permission. It's not easy. Let me tell you, Todd, it is rough if you're not an established author to get somebody to let you put their, your content on their website. It doesn't come easily. I don't know, I don't know of any other organization like ours that lets people do that. So if you find one, let me know who it is. And I'm sure that you can. I'm sure that there's other organizations that will let you put content on their pages, but I don't know the rules. So you just have to Google it and see what you can find. As a director but not owner, would I be best served using my personal Google Plus account, or should I set up a corporate-only Google Plus account? Christian, that is a great question, and the answer is that if you, I would say this. If you have a Google Plus account and you are the face of the business, you need to make sure and that's one thing you all have to kind of come to an understanding about, is who is the real face of your business? Is it the owner, or is it the marketing director, or is it the salesperson? Who is it that people are going to resonate with and are going to know as soon as they see their face, like if it's out in the field? So if the owner is very active in their business and they want to be known, that's fine. If not, and you are going to be the face of the business, then you should use a personal Google Plus account, and you should be taking credit for that, for the articles and the content. You should own it if you're going to do it. On the other hand, we do have some corporate accounts that they can't attribute one face or one franchise owner to all the articles, because it wouldn't be fair to everybody else. So we set them up a corporate account. But the reality is, for a single home care agency, you pick the person who's going to be the face of the agency, you set them up a Google Plus profile, and you connect it to the website, and that person's face will show up on everything. And if you are using Google Plus for personal stuff, you have to make a decision as to what kind of personal stuff you're going to put on Google Plus moving forward, just like Facebook, to be kind of careful about what you put out there. So that's not a great answer, but hopefully it helps. Your audio keeps going in and out. I'm sorry about that, but we're almost done. So let's see. I think that's it. If anybody else has any more questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, I think we are done. And unless, George, you have anything that I didn't add that you want to add?
Well, one thing I want to know, was based on people's questions, is that the reason we built these authority sites for our clients to be able to publish on is because it is so difficult to publish on someone else's site. All the sites that you can buy directory listings on, or that are trying to promote themselves, actually have a bias against giving other people in a large way publishing authority, because it takes away from their lead authors. So it's very difficult to solve this problem, which is the smarts of Google. They've figured out a way to cut through all the spam and the SEO nonsense to basically attach content to a person and to see how that content migrates through across many sites and through social media to then assign some relevancy to that person. So the person becomes more important than the content. And of course, other people don't want that to happen to their websites. But we're in the business of helping you promote your website and yourself. So that's why we've built these additional sites. We haven't seen it done in any large way by anybody else in the home care industry yet, because they haven't tuned in or they don't have that business model. But it's a key thing. It's a pivotal point now in the change of Google to give relevancy to people versus content. And well, we're just at the beginning point of addressing it and getting our clients in shape to be prepared for that future.
Yep, and that is something that we do for our big SEO clients with websites. We do this piece for them, and we just are finishing up that process of making sure that their faces are on all of their materials. And it's a big job, and even if you're one agency, it's a big job. So. So all of you out there, if you have any questions or you need some help or some direction, feel free to reach out to us at 888-404-1513, or you can email me at valerie@ltcep.com or george@ltcep.com. Either one of us can answer your questions about all of this stuff. So, and you can visit our website at ltcsocialmark.com. And I think that's it. So I want to thank everybody for being on the webinar today. I will send out the replay as soon as I can. And George, thanks for tuning in, and I guess we'll talk to everybody next month.